Hey everybody, thank you for joining and welcome to episode 4 of Fear of Becoming Obsolete at Work, or FOBO as we like to call it. I am your friendly neighborhood product owner Tom Ald, and today we are going to talk about your organization. The organization, your employer that you are associated with, can have a massive impact on your job status. Let's talk about the signs companies send out to let you know if you're in a good spot or if you are in a position to be made obsolete. Grab a coffee, tea, or your favorite adult beverage, and let's talk about staying relevant at work. Quick recap. Episode 2, we focused on you and your individual skills. Episode 3, we focused on your team. So it only makes sense today that we focus on your organization. This is the trifecta. This is the final piece of your entire job puzzle. All three of these work together to give you a sense of security or of pending obsolescence. Let's start with a cold dose of reality. Unless your name is on the building, you're always at risk of being let go. Unless you're the owner of the company, you're at risk of being let go. Over the last few months, we keep seeing examples of this happening constantly. Layoff after layoffs after layoffs, and a lot of our friends and family members are being impacted. We really think the timing of this video series is perfect. We hope you're getting value from it, and we hope you're sharing it with anybody that you think could get value. Getting back to your organization. Lou Holtz, Hall of Fame football coach, said, "You're either growing or you're dying." And these are the two types of companies we want to discuss today. I know there's many variables and variations of companies, but we just want to focus on growing organizations or dying organizations. So, what are the signs? Your organization is growing if you're building new products, you're building new services, you're capturing new customers, you're going into new markets. Quality is maintaining at high levels. Leaders are openly investing in innovation, people, and technology. You are seen as an industry leader in your space by the market. Your company morale is positive. Team members are excited to go to work. Team members feel they can make a difference. Team members feel valued. And team members are given opportunities to continue to grow in their career. If you find yourself in one of these organizations, you are in a great place. This doesn't always happen. So when it does, make sure to take a moment and soak it in. Now let's look around. How can you optimize the situation to stay relevant and fight off obsolescence? First off, don't get overly comfortable. Things can be good one quarter and bad the next. But during the good times, what can you do to expand your knowledge, your skill set, or your organizational control? Obviously, whatever path you take, it'll need to fit in with your personal goals. Whether you want to be a knowledge leader that people turn to for expertise, or an organizational leader with lots of people, teams, and budget reporting to you. With a growing company, there are always opportunities to move into new roles. This is where you'll want to check out episode 3 of this video series. It deals with revenue generating versus overhead teams. You know I'm partial to more of the revenue generating teams, but if you're going to move to a new team, you'll want to understand whether you're on the revenue side or overhead side, and then just make your best decision after you can collect that information. The next thing with growing companies is that they're looking for people with new skill sets to help fill the gaps for these new products, services, or offerings that they have. You can use this opportunity to ask for training or maybe even tuition assistance to advance your degree. I know this may sound like a lot to ask for, but remember, the company likes you. You've shown value and you fit within their culture. That is worth a lot to them. To invest in your skill set is in their best interest too. And don't forget, you get to take this degree or training certification with you if you should decide to leave. Basically, the idea is to use the growing period of your organization to grow your own skills. That way you'll evolve with the company and you'll be in a position to lead into the future. I hope you don't perceive this as taking advantage of your organization. You're truly trying to help them succeed. This is an absolute win-win and something that's done all the time. My example, at a small, growing consulting company I was a part of, we were seeing a giant influx of project management opportunities. Candidates with PMP certifications were getting significantly higher rates. This rate was significant enough to justify an investment in me going to my PMP class. I made a proposal, brought it to my owner, they agreed, my company agreed to send me to the 6-week training program, and it's still a core skill set that I use today and a certification that I still keep active. Now let's go to the other side. Let's talk about the organization that is struggling. Here are some of the signs or traits to look for in organizations that are struggling. High turnover. Lots of people are leaving the organization. Key leadership turnover. Most executives don't leave an organization when things are going well. They usually have insight to the raw data, and they may see something coming before the general public or employees do. If you start seeing silly company policies, one, for example, all expenditures need to get senior vice president approval. That's a huge red flag. So you're telling me the person that we're paying $300,000 to $400,000 a year, the best use of their time is approving $15 for Janice in accounting to have new office pens? When companies start doing this, they're telling you without telling you that things are tight and things are about to change. If your company has a headcount freeze, companies stop hiring because they don't want to take on any more expenses. The double whammy for this policy is that the team members remaining are responsible for picking up the slack. A team of 6 reduced to 3 is still being asked to get the same amount of work done. This leads to burnout. This leads to low quality. It just is a bad cycle to get into, so be careful. Last thing about there's a constant rounds of layoffs. Layoffs suck. Okay, I've been on all sides of a layoff. The biggest challenge of layoffs is how the organization handles them. Either respectful and well thought out, or are they done one at a time, slowly rolled out, everything is shrouded in mystery, and you just never know when the call is coming for you. The worst part for employees is that they know the axe is hanging over everybody's head. It's really hard to concentrate on your work when every new email, every new phone call could be a request to come to the HR manager's office with your laptop. The minute the employees know layoffs are coming, productivity goes down, making a bad situation even worse. Good companies that are having layoffs, they know this. They make clear decisions. They communicate openly within legal limits, and they make the transitions happen as quickly as possible. What both organizations, the good ones and the bad ones in layoff situations, don't realize is that the people who survive the layoffs are impacted as well. They just lost friends, they lost colleagues who meant something to them. They will need time to mourn the loss, and during that time, productivity will suffer. So, what do you do when you find yourself seeing these signals from your company? First off, update your resume. I always suggest you have your resume 30 minutes away from being updated. Dust it off, update it, highlight your most relevant skills, get off any skills you don't want to leverage anymore, share it with a friend and colleague for feedback. Then get it to a recruiter or two. You know I'm a huge fan of recruiters. They see thousands of resumes and they know what's going to get a company's attention. After that, take your resume and now update your online work profile. Whether you use LinkedIn or Dice or any of the other applications online, do the same thing out there that you're doing with your resume. Remember to update it with your most relevant experience and highlight the outcomes of your work, not just the activities. Here's an example. You could put on your resume, participated in a team that reduced customer inquiries by 25%. Pretty good. But what if you just switch that up a little bit? Reduced customer inquiries by 25%, leading to a savings of $250,000 per month. Don't you see how that's just a lot better? There's more data, There's an outcome that a potential employer can see and go, wow, this person really helped make an impact. Don't forget, your resume, your online profile, it's only there to get you to have a conversation with a real person. Make sure you've hit all the major keywords and skill sets, because new AI programs are reading resumes before they ever get to a human. So make sure your resume is prepared. Recruiters, again, can help with that. They have to work with those systems. They know what to look for. Next, say you're at a company that's having layoffs and you are one of the survivors. Now you just have to figure out, do you want to stick it out, or do you want to be one of the first ones out the door? If you want to stay, is there a way to get in the part of the business that is the future of the organization, the smaller, scaled down organization? If so, follow those networking skills. Network your way over there if possible. Talk to that area. See how you could be a part of it. But maybe there's this writing on the wall and you are going to be going down with the ship. Is there a retention bonus for staying on? Is there an increased severance for staying on? These are all worth having a conversation. The worst thing they can say to you is no. You're already maybe on the way out the door. This isn't going to hurt you by just trying to be proactive and saying, hey, I want to be here. I want to help do whatever I can. But is there just anything in it for me before we part ways? And then when it comes to the severance situation, sometimes it might be best to be in the first wave. So if they're asking for volunteers, you might want to consider being first. I've been at companies where the severance offers for people who leave at first are the best ones, and then they slowly get worse over time. So keep an eye on that and see what works best for you. I know this is a hard time if you're going through it, so I'm just trying to give you some ideas on how to make it as palatable as possible. How an organization treats people on the way out the door really tells their true culture. If they treat people with empathy and respect, if they treat people like easily replaced cattle, then you know where their core values are. And if you're being treated like cattle, it might be best to move on. We're seeing a lot of press right now around Salesforce. They're being hit by a tech slowdown. They were darlings for many, many years. They love to build this family culture. But right now, through the sky's the limit boom years, the CEO, Mark Benioff, the co-founder and chief executive, told employees they were bound together like family. But now in leaner times, he's laying off thousands of them. And I know he has a responsibility to his shareholders. But it's just hard to hear that one day you're family and then one day you're not. Because you wouldn't do that in a real family. You can't get rid of your kids. You can't get rid of your aunts and uncles. You can't kick them out of the family. Family sticks through things no matter what. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging for Mark to get people to act like a family after this because they've seen how things really happen when times get tough. Lastly, on a personal note, understand the trauma of losing a job. Losing a job is tough. It's always ranked among the top traumas that many of us will experience in our lives. Losing a job and being unemployed for a long period of time is a psychological trauma and a financial trauma, and the two are closely intertwined, says Carl Van Horn, PhD. He's a professor of public policy and an expert on workplace and unemployment policy at Rutgers. So be mindful, be gentle to yourselves. If your friends or family are going through this, understand what they're going through. Try to be there for them. Many times your employer may offer counseling and support during this time. And it might be hard for you to take advantage of those because you're upset with the company that's letting you go. But take advantage of their services. The people providing the career and mental health counseling truly have your best interest at heart. They're almost never part of the organization. They're a third party that are just there to help you be a whole person, being your best self. Lastly, losing a job does not mean you are not valuable. You are. You're a human being with value. Things look dark now, but new opportunities will come for you. You're professional, you're hardworking, you're personable, you're gonna make it work. Just give yourself a little bit of grace and things will get better for you. All right. What do you think? Did you get any value out of this episode? I would so greatly appreciate hearing from you. What did you like? What did you not like? What would you want us to do more of? What do you want us to stop doing? Drop us a comment and we will take your feedback to heart. Lastly, like I said earlier, please share this with a friend. Share it with an enemy. We all have the right to be relevant at work. Spread the love and let's see if we can get through this downturn together. Any likes, subscriptions, and comments would be greatly appreciated. All of your support helps us out. Thank you and have a great week. Again, I am your friendly neighborhood product owner, and I look forward to connecting with you in the future. Take care.